Hello everyone. I just went live. This is for Dope for Degrees 2019 Scholarship Success Series. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. Give me a second. Let me try to post something, try to comment something so you all know what today's objective is. Alright, I pinned that. I'm going to pin that to the profile so you all be able to see it. Also, you can't hear me. Cool beans. Oh no, it's not letting me pin it today. But hopefully you all can hear me. If you can't, please let me know. Today we have a different background. I'm not in an office today. I'm actually in a car coming to you live. So hopefully the information I share with you will be able to help you prepare to go to college and graduate debt-free if you're a high school junior. Also, at any time, let me know if you can't hear me or if you can't see me. I'm trying to get the best lighting that I can to still help you all. I wanted to make sure we had a quiet environment as well. That's why I'm shooting in a car. So let me know if you can't hear me or you can't see me. But we're going to talk today, and I'm going to answer any questions you have about preparing to go to college and graduate debt-free as a high school junior. Before I segue into that, I want to give you some background and tell you my story. Also want to prepare you to see things from a different perspective if you are a high school junior. If you're not a high school junior, then I want to make sure that you are in a position to succeed and hopefully not take out loans. So my name is Danielle Jeffers. I am the founder of Dope for Degrees, LLC. Dope for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where we teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. I've earned more than $200,000 in scholarships, and I will graduate debt-free from Virginia Tech on May 17, 2019. With that being said, I've never taken out a loan since I've been in college. I've never signed for a loan. None of my parents ever co-signed for a loan. So I have been strictly able to get through college with scholarships, grants, and yeah, that's it. Scholarships and grants, because my parents haven't paid a dime out of their pocket for me to get my education. So right now, I think it's unique because a lot of high school seniors are preparing to identify the college they'll attend once they graduate from high school, and they're receiving financial aid packages because they've submitted their FAFSA and they've turned it into the school, and the school is offering them some funding. As a high school senior, thanks for everyone joining. Please let me know if you can't hear me. Let me know if you can't see me. I'm trying to get the best lighting I can possible, but I'm in a car. I'm in a different location right now than I usually am. But also let everyone know who's joining. Feel free to drop any questions or comments you have about earning scholarships to graduate from college debt-free below. But as I was saying, high school seniors are in a unique perspective right now, because right now they're able to look at the colleges they want to go to. They've applied to those colleges, and those colleges are now sending them financial aid packages. If you haven't received your financial aid package, then it's coming soon. But once you receive that, you'll be able to see exactly what the cost of attendance is for that prospective school that you want to go to, with that respective school. So if you want to go to Virginia Tech, that's where I go to school, and they send you a financial aid package that says that it's going to cost you $26,000 to go there for your first year, and they're giving you $6,000 in grant funding and maybe a scholarship, and then they're offering you $20,000 in loans, whether that's an unsubsidized loan, a subsidized loan, or a Parent Plus loan, and you have no idea what that means, then you're in for a rude awakening. And so I am doing this call today to prepare those who are not yet in that position, but they will be soon if they want to go to college, and those people are high school juniors. And if you're not a junior, if you're not a parent, and you're just joining this call, or if you are, please drop a question or comment below. We're literally just having a conversation today. So I talked a little bit about what high school seniors, the position they're in, in terms of receiving those financial aid packages, and the breakdown of that and how it can impact your loan, how it can impact your life. Because if you take out those student loans as a high school senior, especially those unsubsidized student loans that accrue interest while you're in the classroom, and that's why it's different from a subsidized student loan, is because a subsidized student loan gains interest 6 months after you graduate. And that 6-month window after you graduate or you're no longer in school is called your grace period. So if you're taking out unsubsidized student loans, you want to make sure that you can pay on that interest while you're in school, and hopefully get to a point where you can pay on the principal the amount you actually owe. So you're not paying double or triple for a loan you took out for a semester. Also, if you're offered Parent Plus loans, high school seniors and the parents of high school seniors, parents, please note that that will be your debt. A Parent Plus loan is taken out by the parent. It's not taken out by the student. And there's a fixed interest rate offered by the government, but that becomes your debt. So that's just a heads up to high school seniors and the parents of high school seniors and the families of those who are preparing to select the college they want to go to, make their deposits, and they're looking at the financial aid packages. I just want to drop that in this conversation today. But we are talking to high school juniors specifically. So, as always, drop a question or comment if you have one. We're having a conversation today. I love questions, and I'm here to answer them. If you can't hear me or if you need me to repeat something, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that. High school juniors. When I was a high school junior, I knew basketball wasn't my ticket out anymore. If you watched last week's Facebook Live, then you heard my story about how I wanted to go to the WNBA and play ball. That was my dream since I was 5 years old. But I tore my right anterior cruciate ligament, also known as ACL, when I was 14 years old. And if you watched last week's Facebook Live, then you heard me explain the difficulty of digesting that emotionally, as well as accepting the fact that that wouldn't be my dream anymore. That couldn't come true for me to be able to go to college and play basketball, because I had to wait until I was 21 to get the surgery. So I literally walked around with a torn ACL for 7 years before I even had the surgery. And if you watched last week's Facebook Live, you also heard me tell you how I navigated that, from having to switch from being able to play the sport I loved in college to making sure I was academically strong and I was in a position to still go to college but use a different pathway. So that was that story. But when I was a junior, I knew basketball wasn't my ticket, and I was head down in the classroom because I was in dual enrollment classes. I was taking classes through my governor's school. And governor's school is an academic program. Specifically, I'm going to speak on Virginia for a minute, where you can take classes offered by your local community college and gain those college credits and use them to transfer when you go to a 4-year school. And so I was taking, half of my course load was college classes, community college classes, and the other half were all high school classes. And so by doing that my junior year and my senior year of high school, I was able to earn more than 40 dual enrollment credits. I'll say that again. I was able to earn more than 40 dual enrollment credits to go to college. Specifically, I think it was 49 credits, but 2 of them didn't transfer. So it was 47 of my credits that actually transferred to Virginia Tech. And so basically it wiped out all of those basic classes you have to take your first 2 years of college out for me. I didn't have to take those. I was in a position where I could go straight into my major and take the classes I needed to take. Also, once again, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to drop a comment below. Any questions below. But while we're on this live today, I'm going to give some tips for high school juniors. Some things I think you should do now to put yourself in a position to graduate debt-free from college. And as a high school junior, I know you may not be sure about where you want to go to school. I know you may not be sure about why you even want to go to that school if you do have some schools on your list. And you may not even be sure about what you want to study. Because it's tough to tell someone at 18 years old, you need to make a decision that's going to impact possibly the rest of your life financially by choosing a field you want to study in. And so that's a tough decision. That's a tough conversation. But I think that you can put yourself in a position as a high school junior to make the best decision possible. And so what I will say is that it's important first and foremost for you to continue to do well academically. Again, that's tip number 1, is to continue to do well academically. And I'm going to take some notes so I make sure that I'm on track. So tip number 1 is continue to do well academically as a high school junior. And the reason why I say that is because when you apply for scholarships, often they ask what your GPA is. Now, not every scholarship asks for your GPA. So you may be able to apply for some scholarships where you don't have to report your GPA, but it's still important that you have a good GPA so you're competitive when you're applying to these colleges. And so what I mean by that is it's good for you to have at least a 3.5 GPA if you're a high school junior. Aim to maintain at least a 3.5 GPA. If you have a 3.3, if you have a 3.0, that's fine. I don't encourage anyone to get anything lower than a 3.0. Don't get anything lower than the 3.0. But if you do have a GPA that's lower than a 3.0, it's not the end of the world. It's not. You can try to get your GPA up, and you can try to maintain what you have so that it doesn't go lower, but we always want to strive for better. By having a GPA that's lower than a 3.0, does it mean that you won't win any scholarships? No, because they do have scholarships for C students. They do have scholarships for students who have a lower academic performance. It doesn't knock you out of the running, but it does make it a little bit harder for you to just apply for a generic scholarship or apply for a merit-based scholarship and expect to win. It makes things a little bit more difficult. But I think you can still put yourself in a position to win by refining your scholarship search and searching for those that best fit you based on your performance in the classroom and your performance outside of the classroom, as well as your interest in the college you want to go to. So number 1 as a high school junior is to continue to do well academically. Build healthy study habits. And if there's anything you can do to knock off the amount of money it's going to cost you to get your degree, please do it. If that's taking a dual enrollment class, if that's taking an AP class, and you feel like you can manage it, that's the most important part, is doing things you can manage. If you feel like you can manage it, do it. Help yourself. Get ahead. Challenge yourself. If you think it's too much, then don't do it if it's going to put you in a position to harm yourself. But also be wise when you make that decision, because you don't want to just make it off of emotion and say, hey, I just don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. But you do want to make it with logic. Make that decision with logic and say, I can't do this AP class this semester because of X, Y, Z. Maybe that's because you have a difficult situation going on at home and you need to put more energy and time toward that, or there are other challenges that you have to take care of. That could be a reason why. Okay, so number 1 was to continue to do well academically. Looking for my pen. I just had it. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Okay. Number 2 is a high school junior. Is the second tip you can do. Is start looking for scholarships now. Start looking for scholarships now. As a high school junior, you can win some scholarships. There are scholarships that you can win. But you have to be careful and make sure that you read all of the terms and conditions of those scholarships and know what will happen if you win. If you win that money, is that money going to go directly to you? Is that money going to go to the college? How is the organization providing that money going to handle those finances and those funds while you're still in school? So that's something that you need to be aware of as a high school junior. Also, as a high school junior, so tip number 1 was to continue to do well academically. Number 2 was to look for scholarships now. A second point I want to add to that is to make sure that you're building a relationship with your high school guidance counselor, talking to them, getting to know them, and to see what their system looks like in terms of providing scholarships to the students they serve. Does your guidance counselor put together a list of scholarships and offer it to students? When do they start giving that list? Is it only given to high school seniors? That way you can start getting those scholarships together and figuring out what you can do, how you can prepare. Because as a high school junior, you're in a unique position to be able to prepare for your success. Because you know your senior year is going to be hectic. You know you're going to have to put time into making sure your classes are going well, as well as preparing for graduation, preparing for prom, preparing for life after college, submitting your college applications, taking your SAT, taking your ACT. All those things are just a few of the things you're going to have to do as a high school senior. And if you're in the position now as a high school junior, you want to make sure you can prepare for those things. And so getting a list of scholarships that you'll be able to apply for next year is only going to help you succeed. So putting that list together, whether that's an Excel spreadsheet or you write them down in a notebook or you put them together in a Word document, whatever works best for you, it's up to you. But just make sure you're taking steps to prepare. So tip number 1 was to continue to do well academically. Tip number 2 was to look for scholarships now. The third thing I would tell you as a high school junior is to do community service. Do community service. I say that because when you apply for scholarships, these scholarship providers are giving to you selflessly. They're investing in you selflessly. The only thing they want you to do is to continue to do well in school and achieve your goals and represent their organization well. And that means that you have to stay out of trouble, stay well behaved, and continue to be a good student. And so now, if you want to put yourself in a position to win scholarships to graduate debt-free as a high school junior, then you want to make sure that you're doing community service, that you're being of service. So when you apply for those scholarships, you can tell the people who are giving those scholarships, hey, I've done community service here, and your scholarship requires at least 15 hours of community service. I have that recorded. Now I can provide it to you while I'm applying for those scholarships. Or you can weave it into your essay. So many different ways you can navigate that conversation and control that narrative when you're being of service. And it's better to have a long track record of good things than it is to have a short track record of good things, because the length of your track record speaks very highly of your character and your integrity. And so if you're doing community service as a high school junior, I encourage you so much to download Dough for Degrees April 2018 scholarship newsletter. It's on my website at www.doughfordegrees.com. DOUGH, the number 4, degrees with an S.com. Download our April 2018 scholarship newsletter. I think it's 2018. It doesn't cost you a dime. I'm not charging you for it. It's a free newsletter. You'll get the PDF. But inside of that PDF is a community service log. And you can go inside that PDF, download that log, and print off as many copies as you want to, and take it with you when you do community service, and get the person who's supervising you to sign it to show that you've done the work that you said you did. And you build that track record. Again, we're talking about track records, and you want to use that track record and leverage it when you're applying for scholarships as a high school senior or as a high school junior, if you do find some that you can apply for. And so that's tip number 3. Tip number 1 was continue to do well academically. Tip number 2 was to look for scholarships now. Tip number 3 is to do community service. If anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Please, we're having a conversation. And number 4, I will tell you, as a high school junior who's preparing to go to college, is to start narrowing down the colleges you want to go to. So basically, look at different colleges. Look at different colleges. That's different. That's tip number 4. Look at different colleges, and you want to go to, if you're touring colleges with an organization that you're a member of, whether that's the Boys and Girls Club or Big Brothers Big Sisters, which are great organizations, leverage those free opportunities to go on college tours as a high school junior. You want to put yourself in a position to be familiar with the terms and the nuances of higher education before you're actually in the position to make a decision. Right now, I'll tell you once again, you're in a unique position as a high school junior to prepare for your success. And so you have to put yourself in those spaces and be willing to be uncomfortable so that when you're in that space and you're comfortable, you can flourish. Okay? And so you want to look at different colleges. If you want to go to Duke for communication and they don't have your program, then hey, one or two things you need to do. Number 1, you need to analyze and make sure that's really what you want to study. Do you really, really, really want to study communication? And why do you want to study communication? And then the second thing is, why do you want to go to Duke? Do you want to go to Duke because of basketball or football? Or do you want to go to Duke because it's Duke? Or do you want to go to Duke because your boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other is going there? Why do you truly want to go to the school you say you want to go to? If they do not have your program, please do not go to that school because it's not worth it. You're going to school to get a degree to increase your chances of making more money, why would you go somewhere where you're not studying something you want to do? So it's not a wise investment. Go somewhere where it has your program. If you're going to Duke for basketball and you're not going to play on the school's basketball team, you're not making a smart decision. Yeah, you can go to the games. You can watch the games on your phone. But if you're going to school for education, why are you so pressed to be there for basketball? Remember, priorities. You're going for your education. What's going to support you the most? Who's going to expose you to the newest discoveries in your field if they're able to? Who's going to allow you to see and network with great people who are in the field you want to be in if you're going for your education? Also, don't go to school, don't go to a college just because of the name. Why would you go to a college just because of the name? You don't want to do that. You want to go to a college where you have a higher chance of being successful because it's the best fit for you. And so, prestige is nice, okay, it sounds good, but your experience is going to speak and impact you more than the name of a university ever will. I know students who went to a community college, got their 2-year degree for free, transferred to a higher, to a 4-year college, and graduated debt free, and has the same name of that university on their degree piece of paper, as someone who did it in 4 years at that one school. You know what I'm saying? So there was a student who went to that same school for 4 years, took out $100,000 in student loans, and their degree may read the name of that university. And then this other person, they went there and transferred after earning a 2-year degree and was able to graduate debt-free. The name is still on their piece of paper, and their degree may be different or same, but don't choose a school because of the prestige. Choose it because it's the best college for you, okay? So look at different colleges. Tour these colleges. If you want a resource to help you narrow down which college is best for you, we offer that on our website at Dough for Degrees. We have a $5 ebook called Choose the Right College, 9 Steps to Identify Your College. It's the criteria I use when selecting my college, and it's also the criteria that I encourage other students to use because it makes you become more pragmatic about why you want to go to this college and why you believe it's best for you, okay? So that's tip number 4. Tip number 1 was to continue to do well academically. That tip number 2 was to look for scholarships now. Tip number 3 was to do community service. And tip number 4 was to look at different colleges. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. If you can't hear me or you're having trouble seeing me, please let me know. All right, last tip for high school juniors. Last tip, tip number 5. Be confident. Be confident. As a high school junior, you're growing into yourself. You're becoming more aware of yourself and what you like and what you want to do. And there may be a lot of different things tugging on you and trying to get your energy and your time. And you may not be as confident as you want to be or sure of yourself. But you just need to keep learning about yourself and becoming more aware about what interests you and what makes you tick and what makes you want to spend hours learning more about it. Be very aware of yourself and what excites you and those things that don't excite you. And then use that to build your confidence. What I'm trying to say to you is to play to your strengths. For me, as a high school junior, I knew I loved people. I knew I loved public speaking. I loved communicating. And I did it every single day. Whether it was in a professional atmosphere, at a speaking engagement as a high school junior, which I did those through my local Boys and Girls Club and my church and other community organizations, or if it was just giving someone a tour at my local Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to the Boys and Girls Club of Danville, which helped me become the leader I am today and grow into the person I was meant to become. They provided so many opportunities for me. So if that's the fit for you, if you know you have a certain interest in computers or science and technology or something like that, put yourself in that atmosphere, put yourself in that position to learn more about it and be confident in it. And when you figure out that's what you like, put your energy into it every day, even if it's only 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and you want to play to your strengths. Because the more time you spend doing something you love, the better you become at that thing you love. And you have more knowledge and you're more wise about it. And so you can use that to earn scholarships by telling that story. And then going into the field you want to go into when you go to college. So those are my 5 tips for high school juniors. Number 1 is continue to do well academically. Number 2, look for scholarships. Number 3, do community service. Number 4, look at different colleges. And number 5, be confident. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. I would love to answer them. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes to see if anyone has anything they would like to say. If you would like additional information, please go to Doe for Degrees website and submit the follow-up form for this Scholarship Success Series, our 2019 Scholarship Success Series. To everyone who's done that, I appreciate it. I'm getting back to you as soon as possible. I'm working through a backlog. I've had a huge increase in sales and speaking engagements and things lately, and I just had to shift my focus to make sure I was managing that correctly, and I diverted from follow-ups. But I'm getting to that soon. So please feel free to drop any questions or comments you have below. And I'm going to insert the link to the form I just mentioned in here. Hopefully it will let me do it. Okay. That's the follow-up form. I just dropped a comment right there. You can click on that and submit that for additional information. So as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy and your curiosity. I don't see any questions coming through right now. Don't see any comments coming through. But if you have a topic that you need help with, or if you received your financial aid package and you're not sure how to manage that or what that looks like, let me know. Comment below. I'll get the notification on Facebook, and I'll make sure that I answer those questions. I hope everyone has a great day today. As always, questions or concerns, just shoot me a text. Fill out the form in the comment section below so I can follow up with you and send you additional information. Hope you have a great day. See you later.